in time. So then I said, well, I got some time. I'm going to just buckle down, but there's got to be a better way than reading that book. And so I actually Googled and found you guys. I said, I'm going to sign up for this, and signed up. Went for, I guess, for my technician, a day and a half of studying, Monday to Tuesday noon. And then I took maybe 8 or 10 tests each day. And then that found a club on that Saturday and said, well, while it's in my head, let me go test. And voila, I got it. So, of course, my name is Bill Hasbrook. Well, let me start first off and just tell you about my ham experience. I'm pretty much a brand new licensed ham operator. But I got my start in the early 60s. My uncle got his license in 1931. But he also had a newspaper article that same year as having the first ham shack in a public university, and that was San Antonio College in Texas. And so the roots go pretty far back with the family. He got me engaged as a young kid, and we built, and I still have it, on a piece of plywood, an oscillator in the middle with 2 keys, and we would send code back and forth. And I was a little more info than you need, but I was adopted. I was an orphan, but I did get adopted. And then not long after that, my adopted father passed away, and I went to work full time. So everything kind of shoved to the side. And now 60 some odd years later, so I was working for a company, and I'm what's called a design builder, I guess, by profession. Traditionally, the owner goes to an engineer architect, has a contract, gets plans drawn, and then the architect goes out for bids to the construction company. In design build, we do it all under a single contract. And I've done right at about $21 billion worth of that worldwide, and was helping a firm and doing strategic planning. And if I did my job right, I'd be out of work, because I had to tell them what they had to do to get a foothold in Texas transportation. And that, at the end of my analysis, was to purchase a company. And they did. And then 2 weeks later, I got my marching orders, thank you, you did good, and you're on your way out. So I've decided, that was in June, decided, well, I'll go back to doing some consulting. Let me back up just a little bit more. 3 years ago, I said, I got to get this ham thing going. So I bought books from ARRL. I joined, if you will, the local ham club. I go in there and I said, told them the story you just heard. Tell me what equipment I need to purchase. Well, why don't you wait? No, I want to put the money in it so that I look at that every day and I have some incentive to actually get my damn license. 3 years later, it was a very expensive paperweight. And I went through that ARRL book, and after about 2 chapters or something, I said, there's no way in hell I'm ever going to pass this test. So it's been sitting there. Well, now we're going back up in time. So then I said, well, I got some time. I'm going to just buckle down, but there's got to be a better way than reading that book. And so I actually Googled and found you guys. I said, I'm going to sign up for this, and signed up, went for, I guess, for my technician, a day and a half of studying, Monday to Tuesday noon. And then I took maybe 8 or 10 tests each day. And then that found a club on that Saturday and said, well, while it's in my head, let me go test. And voila, I got it. I really don't want to just talk on a handheld to folks in the area. My real dream was to talk DX and be able to understand, why an antenna is an antenna, and be able to talk around the world if I wanted to. Can't do much of that on a technician license. So I said, well, I got some time. I might as well do my general. So the next week I studied 2 days because it's a little more intense. And then I did Wednesday and Thursday morning testing. And the only test for like a month in our area was that Thursday evening, at about an hour and a half drive away. And I said, I got to take this test fast while it's in my head. So a day and a half of testing, 2 days of class. I drove in there, I missed 1 question. Had a Baofang, you had a class for that. And I said, well, I don't have the faintest idea what to do with this crazy thing. So I signed up for that, very economical. Voila, I've got that, and I have those in my permanent house. I got up and running on those and programmed. And then the guys 3 years ago told me to get this IC 7300 with an antenna tuner and all. Been sitting there gathering dust. You have an HF class using an IC 7300. So I signed up. It didn't answer what I really needed. I mean, I can turn it on. Anybody probably should be able to. But even just a brief overview of the buttons on the panel and stuff like that, I really needed. And I'm a visual person. I can read the books all day long, and yeah, I may do okay on a test. But if you tested me on what you taught me in class, I could get an A. So I needed to see more on that HF than just reading it than what I initially got with y'all. And I sent you. You've seen all the correspondence going back and forth, and I'm very very candid. But you added stuff, and I looked at it, I said, now this is a value. So you're probably going to get to the question, that's my background, but why did I want to pay money to join your new system? Because you guys got me in a couple of weeks where I wanted to be for over 60 years. You listened to the comments, not just you. Your CEO responded back a couple of times and saying thank you. And not just because of me, I'm sure there were lots of, but you actually took that to heart and you changed the program. And I found a couple of things in there that I suggested on top of that, and you wrote back, so y'all listened. Years back in the 70s and 80s, I designed databases. And one thing I learned is you can have the best product and database in the world, but if you don't include the input of the users, you got a paperweight. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm looking at why are there all these systems? Well, obviously there's just not one that all the people think are great.
Yeah.
You're at the ground floor. You all have already shown that you listen. Why not be part of something at the beginning where I'm certain you're going to listen to the users and be part of the database that incorporates the best of everything that everybody wants? Excited me, and I said, yeah, oh hell, it's worth that. So yeah, let me join up. And I joined early because I didn't want to miss out on your all's emails and everything coming out and being part of it as it's going forward. Yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. In your HF class, in the new updated module, and I said, this explains something I heard the other day. Now I know how he did it. It has a speech deal where you can record, and then it just keeps sending out CQ, 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 CQ. You know, Foxtrot Juliet 5, Bravo Yankee Echo, calling CQ, CQ for the salmon run, you know, contest. And over and over and over, I go, how does that guy do that? Well, he wasn't. He recorded it in his deal, and it's just doing it. I didn't read that in the book. I didn't see that. So I said, whoa, that's cool. That was almost worth the whole thing right there.